and the Gemini crew.
Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike
yeah.
in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another curl.
Oh yeah, because you're here with us tonight. Oh yeah, you're here with us tonight. Welcome one, welcome all. Good morning, good evening, good night. We're watching this transmission, and welcome to Mike in the Night, broadcasting out of Merritt, British Columbia. I want to thank everybody in the comments who are asking about my dad. My dad's doing a bit better. He was very happy to see me. And yeah, man, we got all kinds of people here. Hold on, what's going on here? We got Lord Humongous in the chat, Andrew, Trampin, Trading, Investing. I got Concative Rue in the house, and Andrea Nikitha. I want to thank everyone for joining us for Mike in the Night. And tonight's topic, after we get over a bit of news and channel news and what's going on, is people in the Commonwealth, middle class in the Commonwealth, cannot afford any longer to buy, well, not all, but 50%. Can no longer afford to buy the basic necessities, whether it's medicine, food, clothing, or So we're going to go over some of that tonight. Hopefully we get some people calling into the show tonight. What a night, people. I'm super busy, super slammed, and you know what? It's good for the diet. I'm keeping myself active. I think I lost another 3 more pounds. I'm feeling great, I'm not digesting 24/7 anymore. I'm having severe connection issues, and no, it's not because I'm in a small town. I have fiber optic, 300 megabytes per second. It's actually, the problem is on the side of YouTube. So, yeah. Okay, we got Big Bro New Zealand in the house. That's always got my back. We got Concative Root, always got my back. We got Hollywood Stevo. Woo! We got Triple B Miracle Dream from What Up BC, and we got everybody in the house coming in from the Commonwealth. And what is happening? We got stories from all over the Commonwealth where people are having a tough time affording to buy the basic necessities. And we're not talking about buying their scratch tickets and lottery tickets and lipstick and perfume and fur coats. We're talking about basic necessities like food. And without putting fuel in your system, guess what happens? You die. And why is this happening? Let's find out. All right, before we get, let's go into some channel news here real quick. We got last week's show, Mike in the Night, what's happening to cryptocurrency. The week before that, Mike in the Night, the one event that changed the world. What do you think it is? Disappearing middle class, Mike in the Night. And Mike in the Night, tariff wars. It keeps going back and back and back. I got a ton of shout outs. A lot of shout outs, actually, from people from all over. Same here in Australia. People are broke. Oh yeah, this is the whole Commonwealth, guys. We're touching every English-speaking country that's been affected by this crazy housing crisis buyout that we've been experiencing in every English-speaking country. We got all the Mike in the Nights there. Trends in the housing market was a hit. Trends in the housing market from last week was an absolute hit. Got some good people on the show. Just Morning Coffee with Mike is actually getting pretty popular on the channel. And then housing crisis, New Zealand, USA, Canada, Australia. Go in here and find your country and find out. Just go up to my search up here, guys, on my channel. You find the search magnifying glass and just type in your country. You'll find thousands. These videos keep getting hit. These ones, Sydney, Australia, 1955, Auckland, New Zealand, 1971. They keep getting hit for hate speech, but there's no hate speech on them. I keep getting them appealed and they get put back up. So take a look at these. They're my yearbook video series there. Game store from scratch. If you want to see me build a business from scratch, it's pretty cool. Guys, we're on Minds.com. Mike Martins, if you want to join Minds.com, come on to Minds.com. I got a nice comment here from somebody. Armchair Economist Red Pill says it's super cheesy to say, right? So it's coming from his heart. It's coming from his heart. Maybe I'm the first to say it, but I'm your #1 fan. Keep up the great work. I follow you on YouTube. You have a tiny but loyal following, I think. You're more informative and meaningful than anything. And I mean anything on Bloomberg and CNN. So I thanked him for that. Armchair Economist Red Pill. Let me know what your name is on YouTube. Yep. So we got Andrew Trapman Trading saying Bunnings are Home Depot lows in Australia and New Zealand are 30% down. Oh yeah. 30% down. That means people aren't fixing homes. So get on Minds.com. If you're still on Facebook, what the heck are you doing on there? I'm on Subscribestar. I got one person following me on here that donates $1 a month. And then I'm on BitChute, guys. Guys, you got to get on BitChute, okay? I'm going to explain to you why. You don't have to have an account on BitChute. You could just go on and watch stuff. I put this video here of World War II actual history that every time I put it up on YouTube, it gets like no views or 1 view or 2 views. It's this one here. You'll see it on my channel on BitChute. And this video here, I bought the rights for.
Hey YouTubers, welcome to
So I bought the rights for this video like 11 years ago for this video series. And I have the copyright, I own it. But you guys need to actually watch this documentary because it actually depicts a non-biased look at World War II. And it's on my BitChute channel. It won't work on YouTube for some reason. It's not flagged for copyright. That's not it. It can't get more than 5 views. So there's part 2 I just published here. And it discusses the war in the Arctic region and yeah. So it's on BitChute. So check me out on BitChute, guys. If you go to my channel here on YouTube, on the top right, you'll see the links for BitChute, Subscribestar, and Patreon. So get to BitChute. This is a really good one. So I have a vault of my own documentaries. I don't own the rights to these. They're not my work, but I own a collection of digital documentaries like How the Barbarians Toppled Rome, really good documentary. The Art of Getting Money audiobook, it's by B.T. Barnum. It is older, but it gets the common sense out of just common sense. This is a really good documentary. Housing Market of Crash of 2019, Inside the Meltdown. Bank That Bust the World. So these are some documentaries that I have in my vault of documentaries that like I put them on YouTube, they have 2 views. But you put them on here, this one here, actual World War II history. This thing is awesome, guys. Like, please watch this. And I am grateful. I'm grateful to say I own the rights to the video, the music, the whatever on here is all something I honestly purchased and got the rights for it. Anyways, I know everyone's all World War II out, but watch that. It's on BitChute. Okay, what else we got? Patreon, guys. Try and support me on here if you can. I got 10 Patreon supporters supporting me and buying me my coffee. Okay, let's get into the markets. S&P TSX is down 48.86 points. The S&P 500, the weighted average, 2.9 is down 5.41. The Dow is also down 43.88 as a whole. Kind of climbed up towards the end of Friday night. Canadian US dollar still sticking at 76 cents. Crude oil up 39 cents at $57.39 Bitcoin at 14,516. Started strong and just ticked over the mark there. Gold's over $1,400 now, 1401. Russell index here, Russell 2000 at up 3.5. The Russell 2000 is the weighted average of the top performing, or the top highest money making companies on the stock market. So the Russell 2000, I think they need to be part of the Russell 2000 club. You need to have at least $200 billion in assets to be part of the Russell 2000. So I don't look at the Russell 2000 too much because it's usually the weighted average of the biggest on there. 10-year bond over 2%. Volatility looking okay, and the FTSE at down 50 points. So let's move on to Zero Hedge. Let's go over some main headline news. All right, let's go over some comments and some shout outs first, okay? BitChute, I will check it out, Mike, says Andrew. Yeah, check it out. BitChute, I just want to let you guys know that when you're scrolling around looking for stuff, there's a lot of F-bombs, lots of swearing. BitChute, a lot of the stuff, not a lot, but a good percentage of stuff isn't children friendly. And it's not like leftist crazy stuff pouring gravy down their pants. It's more like people really venting on there, so kind of be careful on there with watching with children. Buy positions, gold and silver next week, said Lord Humongous. Mike Martin's dog, Mike never walks me. eBank uses, yep, I just invested 100 large into Bitcoin, so I will have 10 million bucks by the end of the year. Oh yeah, the hamburger will cost $10,000 by then. Very true. Lord Humongous says, I made 60% on one day in the 20%. Yes, you told me yes. Woo! Lord Humongous was right. I'm not just going to say that right there. He was right. He gave me a few stock tips. I'm more into the whole oil, and oil did well. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not complaining, right? Okay, Annie double ZI in the house. All right, let's go over. Okay, hold on. Let's be fair here. Guys, I am streaming at a very low rate, and it's not my end. It's fiber optic. It's running at 300 megabytes per second. So there's no excuse for my end at all. And it is YouTube. I guess what they do is they want to focus more on let's pour gravy down our pants channels. I'm noticing that a lot with those channels. They get more, obviously they get more front center, and obviously they get everything, right? But they're giving more bandwidth. I think they're allocating bandwidth, and that's what's happening. So, okay. All right. Jeffrey Epson has been arrested for sex trafficking of minors. Okay. State of emergency declared after 7.1 quake rocks Southern California. Massive aftershock in towns. The agency has warned 50% chance of another magnitude 6 earthquake coming in days. Guys, if you're in the comments in the California section, please call us and let us know what's... Add me on Skype, Mike Martins 1980. Go ahead and call in and let us know what's happening. If you're on the ground in California, let us know what's going on there. Visualizing the 20 biggest bankruptcies in history. Are we really free? Maybe it's time for a personal declaration of independence. Study confirms cannabis oil can reduce or eliminate epileptic seizures in kids. Yeah, that was actually... what else we got? Study confirms cannabis oil can reduce or eliminate epileptic seizures. That's been something they knew for a while. Trump's relationship to Russia, China, revival of the Henry Wallace Doctrine. Bay Area home prices plunge in May, largest in 7 years. I'll be talking about that on Trends in the Housing Market on Wednesday night. Bay Area is going... This was sent to me by two different people living in the Bay Area and San Jose area. Russia declares continued support to Venezuela army, debunks myths. Yeah! Viva Venezuela! Viva la gente! Viva la causa! Iran to announce enrichment to 5% Sunday, aiming at higher grade uranium. It's going to take a million years for Iran to get anything off the ground. So I wouldn't worry too much about Iran. I think that's old news. Swept under the rug. Yeah, I know my channel's freezing up. It's saying I'm having freezing up sections here. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is, guys. One of the back burner channels here on YouTube. All right, let's move on. Okay, so let's talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs before we get into needs. We want to talk about a little bit of needs and wants. I brought this up on the show, I don't know, a year ago. We were talking about needs versus wants. Needs versus wants. What do you need? What do you want, right? Now, it's kind of important because people think they need an iPhone. You don't need an iPhone. You want an iPhone. Big difference. Once you start dividing, the differences between what you need and want, you better be careful, because a lot of people say they need a diamond necklace. They want that stuff. And once you could differentiate the differences, guess what? Life becomes a lot easier financially when you start kicking things to the curb that you want. All right. What is the difference between needs and wants? A need is something you have to survive or complete a task. A want is simply a desire for something, in many cases something to satisfy the need. You need food to survive. You want pizza or steak, fish, but anything that provides protein, carbs, vitamins, minerals will do. You need clothing to survive. You need to cut down a large branch before a large branch before it falls on your house. These are things you need to do. You need transportation to go to work. You want a luxury car. Big differences here, right? You need a need is something a person must have in order to thrive. A want is a choice, a desire, which a person may or not be able to get. So I want $1 million, but everybody wants $1 million. But who needs $1 million? Right? Who needs a sports car? But who wants a car to drive? Who wants a car to drive to work? But who needs a sports car? Yeah, sorry guys about the choppiness. If my transmission is freezing up. Unfortunately, I'm having I don't know, I'm just like on the back burner of YouTube right now, and when I reach X amount of people watching, they cut the transmission off. So all right, okay, here it goes. Needs and wants. So trying this, but the only way to succeed is to swim. You need to swim. I need an apple. I want a Macintosh. I need some scraps. I want a gigantic meal. But yeah. It's like someone that owns 3 bicycles and they want another bike. They don't need another bike. Needs and wants. So why am I bringing this up, guys? Because we need to talk about study. 40% of Americans struggle to afford basic needs. Yeah. 40% of Americans struggle to afford basic needs. According to a new study from the Urban Institute, 39.4% of adults reported they struggle to afford at least one basic need for healthcare, housing, utilities, or food in 2017. These struggles did not just affect adults with lower incomes, they extended into higher incomes of families and families without employed members. A lot of people are looking to the fact that wages aren't keeping up with household costs, and one reason families are having difficulty making ends meet. Yeah. So guys, my transmission is having a lot of flashing here and a lot of red flashing, that it's not transitioning nicely right now. Everything that's connected to the internet is pretty much turned off here at the house. So it's 300 megabytes per second is my internet here. So I think that's fast enough for a basic internet connection. So yeah, Richa Da Silva saying people are playing real life Monopoly, and I believe it. And that's what's been happening for years. Lower expenses, start a business, Bitcoin, gold, silver. So, okay, let's read another headline. Almost half of Americans can't pay their basic needs. 4 in 10 Americans are struggling to... 4 in 10? To pay their basic needs such as groceries, housing, a problem every middle-class households confront according to a new study from the Urban Institute. 4 in 10? The findings surprised researchers in the Urban Institute who have expected to find high levels of hardship among poor Americans, but hadn't predicted so many middle-class families. Right there. Something nobody ever expected. Hardship of poor Americans, but hadn't predicted so many middle-class families would also struggle to meet their basic needs. That may illustrate that middle-class income is no guarantee. Man, I know we had a show on what is middle class. Am I middle class? Are you middle class? Who's middle class? I'm just watching the comments here. Okay, guys, I want to send a special shout out to Jerome, who's listening to this transmission in his bar. Okay? He listens to us live when he can. And if the music's too loud in the bar, he listens to us on replay and is listening to us from Montego Bay, Jamaica. Oh, yeah, our man Jerome down in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Thanks for listening to the show. So, yeah, I'm just fluctuating through connections here. I'm not sure why, but it is happening, guys. I'm really sorry about the connection tonight. Hopefully it's going to be on good replay, later. ATO. Okay, this is from Australia, okay? Listen to this. The ATO, Australian Terminal, I don't even know what that stands for, hangs up amid flood of calls from excited taxpayers seeking bonuses. So people are looking for their tax returns in Australia. Australian tax office phone lines have been overwhelmed by hundreds of thousands of callers as taxpayers rush to get the $1,080 boost in their refunds this year, continued in the coalition's tax cut legislation. Everyone's starving. The ATO has already had to block 50,000 calls in their first 5 days of financial year amid a huge surge of excitement and interest in tax time as it tries to implement a new system for claiming returns. Wow, they had a 28% increase in calls. By now, the callers are flooding into the ATO lines and struggling to navigate the MyGov system, or just so that they're going to get some sort of return in Australia of $1,000. 1,000 clams, one large. 1,080 bucks. That's like $900 Canadian, or 950, 30 Canadian. Holy smokeroos! And let's move on to here. Rural Australians struggling to put food on the table. Food Bank Hunger Report finds. Oh, man. Residents of rural regional Australia are 11% more likely to struggle to put food on their tables than people living in the major cities, according to food relief agency Food Bank. So, top 5 causes for food insecurity. What are the top 5 causes, people? Well, here it is. Unexpected expenses or bills, 56%. Oh, yeah, you get the bonus bills every once in a while. I love getting bonus bills. You get a bill's like $1,800. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Not enough money in the first place, 48%. Rent or mortgage cost, 38%. Food too expensive, 35%. Unable to work due to sickness or injury, 10%. So 90% of people are willing and able to work. And I wholeheartedly agree that these people are working. But are they making enough? That is the question. Canada Post's strongest job creation to start a year since 2002 as wages rise. Then why is everyone starving in Canada? Yeah. Housing, Shark Bite Steve is saying housing inflation is 200%. Try 3,000%. Tear down bungalow built in 1910 that needs a roof and a new foundation is like $2.1 million in parts of Vancouver. Okay, so woo! Yeah, Supreme Cannon's in the house. Andrew Trapman Trading. You got to call into the show. Andrew Trapman, add me on Skype. Mike Martins 1980. We'll have open lines in a few seconds here. We will get to the bottom of this tonight. So, Canada's created all these jobs. Where is it? Over the first half of the year, the country added 248,000 new positions. Yeah, but what about summer jobs? Like, there's summer jobs. People getting summer jobs out of school. Summer jobs. Doesn't that, does that add to it? Almost all of which were full-time. New Statistics Canada data showed on Friday the latest evidence of job market's resilience despite the economic slowdown over the first few months of 2019. Oh my God. All right, let's move on. Perth. Western Australians struggled to pay for food and heating. Yeah, it's gonna grow. Man, New Zealand's working poor. Yeah, they're using my lingo. Working poor. That's the new middle class, right? New Zealand's working poor and the push to understand how many are struggling. You could work all week and only have $20 to show for it. You could be a mother of two. Joanna working a retail job in Henderson with a take-home pay of $550 eaten up by rent, $530 every week. That's $20. Doesn't buy you much in food nowadays, does it? I think you can go buy a box of beef patties and maybe, I don't know, like some stuff, I guess, but not much. This isn't a story about rental prices in Auckland. This is a story about low wages having living costs and the working poor. Unemployment's at its lowest in a decade, 4.4%. People aren't struggling to find jobs. No. Working class, this is the working level. Human work, human labor, human is up here, okay? And productivity's up here. Highest than it's ever been. But pay is still down here. There's this delta right here. This huge delta. Where's the delta going? What happened to the delta? You see, I believe in capitalism if wages basically increased with inflation. Now they have to raise wages 40% for people to make the basic ends meet. 50% in some cases. But if they increased wages with inflation, capitalism works. All these people would be working. Look, unemployment is only at 4.4%. Bid Connect! I got people bid connecting. Okay, I'll put him up. I'll put it up. And I'll put the Lamborghini guy, the guy that bought 20 Lamborghinis and he's living in Hollywood Hills. Lamborghinis, and somebody gave him a Lamborghini. So let's get to YouTube here. We'll put a little bit. This episode tonight of Mike in the Night's a little bit harsh, a little bit hard to stomach. Amount of people that are. Let's put some BitConnect in here to break it up a bit.
hey.
I love this guy.
What's
Yes! Yeah. I love this guy. This BitConnect guy. I mean, this guy, I mean, he's the guy of guys. I mean, you got to give him that much. He really works hard to get his word out there and get people educated. Works very hard to educate people and get them on board with this crap. I wonder if he ended up in jail for misdirecting so many people. Yeah, anyways. Let's get to some comments. Big Rubbles says, saw a story in the news about homeless in LA. First time ever an MSN leaked out somehow. Oh yeah, we covered that on the homeless. It was just absolutely phenomenal. The 10 cities. It was 27,000 in Los Angeles and 44,000 in LA County. And then the reporter says, but there's only 22,000 in San Francisco. Like, that's great. It's only 22,000 in San Francisco. Yeah, Briggs. Are you in California, Briggs? It says 25% up. Veggies went up 25%. Yeah, purchasing power doesn't work. Purchasing power works if you take your money, like take 10 grand, and you buy 130,000 Mexican pesos, and you could live like a year and a half, 2 years in Mexico with that much money. That's buying power. In Canada, you take your pay, you ain't going nowhere with that pay. You know what I'm saying? All right. What's that guy, the other guy name that I make fun of? Is it Ty Lopez? Yeah, this guy. I make fun of this guy all the time. I got a Lamborghini, and I got 12 Lamborghinis here, and I got 13 Lamborghinis here in Hollywood Hills.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills.
Got a Lamborghini. Yeah, I got to break it up a bit. This episode of Mike and the Night's kind of... So here it is. Almost half of Americans can't pay their basic needs. Rural Australia struggles to put food on the table. But good news, Canada, strongest job creation. So there are jobs out there, guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying no one wants to work. People aren't making enough. This delta. Human labor's up here, okay? Productivity's up here, right? But wages are here. And capitalism, yes, it does work. I believe in capitalism. It does work only if wages kind of moved along with inflation. But it never did. And New Zealanders with 20 bucks on average left over to buy food after paying for housing. This was sent to me by the University of Auckland today. In New Zealand, 40% of households go hungry, skip meals, or scrimp on ingredients because they are not food secure. Food security is when families do not have enough money to buy healthy food to put on the table, and they are restricted to the amount of food they can buy. Yeah. This is just the cycle because from lack of healthy food, there will be less energy and won't eat healthy because high processed foods and fatty foods are cheaper and give the same value by making them feel full and unsatisfied. So this is it. This was sent to me by the University of Auckland today. Thank you for sending me this. 80,000 people rely on food parcels in Ireland last year. Wow. European Fund delivered almost 1,000 tons of staple foods to Irish families. Wow. 80,000 people in Ireland rely on food parcels. Guys, this is not good. I mean, is anyone paying attention? It's happening in every English-speaking country. It's the same. It's the same song and dance. Okay, Brenda Lee is there. We got Layla. Some say he doesn't have much as it makes it sound. He hires places and rents cards to film, etc. What? Some say he doesn't have as much as he makes it sound. He hires places and rents cards. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, you're talking about this guy. This guy.
But you know what I like a lot more than knowledge? This new Lamborghini here. But you know what I like a lot more than the new Lamborghini here? My TEDx talk where I talk about this
new Lamborghini here.
Yeah, it's the new Lamborghini. You know, the new Lamborghini, we got to talk about this for like 3 days in a row because you have so much conversation on that. Okay, let's move here. New Zealand's working poor. So New Zealand's working poor and the push to understand how many people are struggling. Yeah, I covered that. I'm sorry, guys. There's just so many open links here. That's from the University of Auckland. 80,000 people relied on food parcels in Ireland last year. And almost 1 million Canadians give up food, heat, to afford prescriptions. 968,000 people skimped on necessities to pay for their medicine in 2016, researchers find. Do you think this is an older article? But this article is from February 2018, but do you think it's gotten better since then? I don't know. Yeah, Brianna's saying, good point. English-speaking countries also happen to be first world countries. That's right. So is it by design? Our housing market basically bought up by foreign investing? Billions of dollars thrown into, billions of laundered money going into these English-speaking countries with their open door policy. Bring in your money. Come and spend it here. All right, so who is skimping on medications? That's scary. Let's move on here. Half of Canadians can't afford foods recommended in new guide. Yeah, price of, one thing, guys, when you're like when I was a bachelor and I was single for so many years, when I ate, it's not that I bought cheap food or anything, but I just stuck to making like sandwiches and instant noodles and stuff. But when I made sandwiches, I made sure I had vegetables in it and tomatoes, onions, sometimes some black olives. I would always mix it up a bit and try and keep it as healthy as possible. Again, food insecurity. Millions of Canadians struggle to put food on the table. 1 in 5 Canadians have skipped a meal because they couldn't afford to buy anything. So I see these people, but you know what the problem is? You would think people would be more humble. Whoa! Somebody sent me a super chat. $1.99. Mike in the night. Do you love all people? Cheers. I love everybody. I love everything, guys. I love everybody. And we got too many disputes going on top world economics. Sharkbite Steve. Woo! Oh yeah, burning it up with Mike in the night. All right, before we get our first caller on the show, hopefully I have internet by then. Not sure what's happening with the internet. It works fine. It's working fine, to be honest with you. I want to say Another shout out again to my man Jerome in Montego Bay, Jamaica, that's probably listening to this live right now if the music is not that loud in his bar. I want to thank also Delroy Hamilton in Port Royal, Jamaica, who's listening to this right now or on replay. So, I mean, 2 people from Jamaica messaged me in the same week. Like, what are the odds, eh? We got Lanny in Warsaw, Poland, Kevin Larson in Miami Beach, Florida, Linda Halifax in London, England, March 2213 from Christchurch, New Zealand, Curry in Iceland, Max Singh, long haul trucker, is headed east on I-10 right now as we speak. Max Singh, long haul trucker, is heading east on I-10. Trisha from Trinidad and Tobago, listening out of Port of Spain, in the capital of Trinidad and Tobago. Maria da Silva in Sao Paulo, Brazil, who is watching Mike in the Night. All right, guys. So if you're just tuning in, guys, don't forget to... Hold on.
I'm coming from New York City, New York.
This guy's coming from New York City, New York, I say. And then we got Lamborghini.
In fact, I'm a lot more proud of these 7 new Hollywood Hills that I had to...
Woo! All right, guys. Don't forget to check out my channel. If you want to support this transmission in the basic levels, go ahead and share one of my videos. I got a treat for you guys. I'm going to get everyone on BitChute fast enough. Guys, get on Minds.com. It's the new Facebook, and they pay you in tokens. You can donate tokens to me if you want to. They're free. You get them for free. So if you want to donate to your favorite page, go ahead and do that. But this is the one I wanted to show you, my BitChute. I really want to show you guys this BitChute because it's really good. And the thing with BitChute is you guys got to be really careful. Is a lot of the language on it, you got to be really careful because a lot of people are upfront and pretty straightforward. Kind of like YouTube was at the beginning, okay? Oh, Owen's in the house. ¿Cómo estás, Mike Martins? I'm doing good, I say. Okay, here we go. So this is what I want to show you guys. You guys go to my channel and you look at this, guys. I put up a documentary right here, and it's on my channel, The Actual World War II History Part 1. I bought the rights to this video a few years, like many years ago, actually. It's when I was still living in Vancouver. This documentary is really good, guys. I keep putting it on YouTube, and it gets less than 4 views. So, if you guys want to get on BitChute and watch it, go to the top of my YouTube channel. You'll see the link. Then I put up Part 2 today of this World War II. Everyone's all World War II out. I get it. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 2 of our series here on the Mike Martins channel. Just want to thank King Videos and Studios for giving us the authorization. So,
one of the first acts of the Army.
I want you guys to watch this film.
Chamberlain has earned an...
You end up learning so much about World War II that you would never imagine. Non-biased. It's open on 2 sides. And Patreon, if you want to support me with $1 a month to buy me coffee. I have 10 Patreon supporting me right now at $27 a month. I want to thank them for buying me coffee. All right, let's get someone to call in. Who do we want to call in? I hear Brianna. I see Brianna is in the comments. Maybe I should call her. Brianna, is everyone asleep at your house? Can I call you? I haven't had you on the show in a while. Like to get Solid Extra in the house too. Everybody's coming into the house here. We got a small following here on the channel, but it's a true following. So if you go back to right here, somebody commented. Armchair Economist Red Pill says, it's super cheesy to say. Maybe I'm your first to say it, but I'm your #1 fan. Keep up the great work. I follow you on YouTube. You have a tiny but loyal following, I think. You're more informative and meaningful than anything. And I mean anything on Bloomberg and CNN. So I am still at shock that someone said that to me today. I'm still at shock. I am grateful that people... Okay, I say. I need, is Brianna, you there or what? She's just laughing, laugh out loud. If you want to come on the show and tell us what's happening with your food situation, is it getting expensive? Are you noticing anything? Do you, or her, Brianna's, yeah, she's, her, Skype has been, I guess, turned off. All right, let's get, who else is here? We've got quite a few people. Guys, you need to one-line message me. I need to know you're here, eh? Oh, we got Leaf in the house. I wonder if Leaf's watching. Who else is watching here? Lord Humongous is watching. Lost Canuck is online, but I don't know if he's watching. I don't want to wake the guy up, right? I don't want to wake the guy up. Well, Supreme Cannon's on the sidelines, ready to go. Hopefully more people will come out and about to tell us what is going on. We haven't heard from the Raven in a while. Hope he's okay too. Owen, are you awake? Owen, can you talk, buddy? Oh, I saw Owen. Let me see if he's out partying right now. We'll wake him up. Well, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to hang up. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning in Owen's neck of the wood. So, neck of the woods. Neck of the woods. Let's see if Raven's available. Everyone's out to lunch? They're out to lunch? Out with family? Out to school? All right, let's see if Supreme is there.
Mikey.
Oh my God, he picked up on the first ring.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. Yeah, I thought you were trying to call me already. My your stream just hung up over here.
Yeah, you know, my stream is a hit. You know, I have fiber optic here at the house, and unfortunately, the internet is fine. I did a few checks on it. It's 300 megabytes per second fiber optic. It's actually cheaper than getting the regular internet at like 30 megabytes per second.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah. Oh, I've seen good Wi-Fi. I've seen like wicked Wi-Fi, but yeah, where I am right now, it's pretty spotty too.
Yeah. We got Twisted Pixel saying, "Hey, Mike, my mother struggles with paying bills and food and other things too." Yeah, it's stressful. It's so stressful. So, have you been watching the show, Supreme?
Yeah. You were on. I come in at about 25 minutes.
Okay, so I went. Did you see some of the articles? What's happening in New Zealand, Australia, Canadians giving up food and heat for prescriptions, and Australians and UKers and Irish, Scottish, and all these food banks looking at these incredible numbers of people coming in for food. And it's a lot of the middle class, working middle class that can't afford to buy the basic necessities, right?
Yeah, no, it's terrible. A lot of this is it's fallout from the financialization of the economy, of course. You've got different attempts to manage supply and manage prices of commodities, which inevitably either create shortages or prices have to go up on a bunch of stuff.
Are we talking about the deregulation of the banking system in the 70s, or are we talking about...
Oh, well, I think there's been a couple of different deregulations. I think Bill Clinton was the guy who overturned the Glass-Steagall Act, wasn't he?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, that was in 99, I believe.
That was a second term, right?
Yeah, that was a going away present to the world. Yeah, that's when gold was $250 an ounce, and the Nasdaq was going to be the stock market for the next 100 years. You know, remember those days?
Yes, I do.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it was pretty exciting for a little bit for a lot of people. I think that's part of it. Of course, wages haven't kept up. I mean, there's been concerted efforts, obviously, to keep wages down by importing a bunch of people to work cheap. There's not thinking about the kids or how anybody's going to do anything. You've got 30 or 40 years of continuous family breakdown, which has doubled the cost of everything too. I mean, you used to have one household, right, and everyone living in that house, and now you need Now you need 2 houses, and now you need 2 cars, and you need 2 different sets of clothes, and the kids have to go into daycare. There's all kinds of other expenses that didn't exist prior to, or really were very rare prior to, say, I'll pull a number out of the air, say 1980. Okay, so people's purchasing power has steadily gone down, and part of the problem is when you have these recessions, what you have is a lot of that inflation actually disappears for a while. But the problem is the reason that you had that bubble is because, of course, everybody was getting up to their hump in debt. So you're in debt, and then suddenly the price of every asset on the planet drops through the basement floor, and then no one can afford to buy anything because they have no money because they're in debt, and now suddenly they're out of work for a while.
Yeah.
You've got a big problem there, and the only way that I think you can get ahead of it is you've got to time the waves. It's almost like surfing.
Yes.
Right? It's
you're
like
watching
people
for the big wave. You're watching for the best waves. You're hanging out on your board, waiting, passing on some waves, and
That's
then you
right.
catch the right wave. Before you say anything, we got AV1611 from St. John's, Newfoundland. Welcome. I think that's the furthest east anyone's commented so far. So, yeah, continue. Go ahead.
Awesome. Well, you go any further east, he's going to get real cold and wet. So you stay right where you are, AV. Yeah, I think that's part of it. But if you don't have like most people, and God Almighty, most of my life, myself would be included in that. If you don't have any awareness of how money works, particularly fiat currency and fractional reserve banking, that sort of thing, it seems like people say things like their counterpoint is, well, you don't want to save money because inflation will just eat up the cash anyway, and you can't make any money in the bank account. Well, that's true. But that's part of the reason that you want an emergency fund to begin with, so that you can get over the hump. And also about every 8 or 10 years, a lot of that deflation disappears. And the reason that you had that crash is because everybody was in debt. So if you're not in,
that leads to stagnation because things just kind of plateau and nothing goes anywhere, right?
It seems that way. Yeah. I don't really think that food and gasoline and things like that in Canada got a lot cheaper during the last crash. A lot of assets that people had paid a lot of money for, obviously they flogged a lot cheaper.
Okay, hold on. We got Crane Standing just super chatted me for $3.99, and he says dual income is the biggest issue in modern finance. What do you think of that?
Well, you know what? I think it is. It is certainly it's driven down purchasing power, is what it's done. Because if everyone in the household is working, and you're generating all this money, well, you've driven down wages. It's basically the supply-demand curve, and labor is a market like any other market. So when you flood the market with new labor, particularly when our economy is electrified and mechanized and automated and computerized, there's just not a lot of the requirements that you need to get some of these jobs are very expensive educations, and then they really don't pay that much. And in some places in Silicon Valley, for example, there are people that work as unpaid interns for a year or two, just trying to get a foot in the door. But it's almost like it takes a long time for people to understand when a market like that is saturated. I think they just kind of hang on and just have faith that things will turn around, and sooner or later you've got to pull the cord and say, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else and I'm going to try something different.
Yeah. Pull the rip cord. If the first shoot doesn't work, pull the second cord. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Just wherever you can't afford to live, don't live there. Go somewhere else.
You know what the thing is? The politicians' wages always go up in line with inflation, but everyone else's doesn't.
Oh, definitely, yeah, and it usually when they do it, they time it in the political cycle so that it's not even an issue anymore by the time they run for re-election. They do it like they have in the States. You say, well, the economy's never been better, and we've created all these jobs, and good times are here again. But the average person, you might manage their expectations by making them believe that things are good and going to get better. But the underlying reality, the numbers don't lie. The Western world is bankrupt.
Yeah.
It's effectively
1 trillion percent. Because back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, it was all about wealth building. The banks used to pay you a nice, decent amount of interest on your bank accounts. And people don't believe me when I say, yeah, you know, on 5% in your bank account back in the day, you'd get $50,000 a year on $1 million. You know why? Because $1 million back in the day actually was worth something. Now $1 million doesn't even buy you a teardown in Vancouver. No,
that's right. Yeah, we have plenty of inflation. The idea that inflation is 1% or 2% or whatever is a joke. Some things it's 200%, 300%.
Exactly. Remember, I did a video in the Walmart parking lot the other day. I had a friend from Iran call me the other day, and he told me that inflation's at 50%.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
I didn't believe. He said 30 to 50% inflation, and the economy shrunk by 50%.
Yeah, well, there you go. You've got people needing to eat, needing to live, needing to probably travel to work and things like that. I mean, we've had a car crazy system since World War II, and that probably isn't sustainable. And I'm not even saying that as a tree hugger.
No. But that was added. That was added because of people moving to the burbs, right? The suburbs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it made that all possible. Yeah, and mobility also increased it made logistics better. You know, you could get food from the countryside faster, and you could send machinery to various places. You could export from one state or province to another that much quicker. It probably made national retail chains possible, just because of the logistics involved. So all those highways have been, overall, I think they've been a good thing.
Right.
But the expectations that things are just going to get better, and the more time you work at a job, your next Oldsmobile is going to have more chrome on it than the first one you bought. It just isn't going to go that way forever.
I wanted to bring up this discussion I had with someone that sells Mack trucks, Freightliners, Peterbilts, and he told me that Canada's not buying like they used to.
I think it's peaked. There's a website I follow called wolfstreet.com, Wolf Richter, and he's been kind of covering the trucking industry among other things for a while, because it is an index as well. And the Federal Reserve website has truckloads hauled and things like that too. And carloads, like railroad carloads, things like that, because it is kind of a leading indicator of whether things are expanding or contracting. And yeah, truck orders a couple of years ago were red hot, and now they've just dropped off a cliff.
Yeah, Peterbilt's, like he said, they're down 80% in sales to Canada, and I think Freightliner was 92% lower in sales, and Freightliner was one of the best big rigs that people could, that the average trucker could buy, right? And I'm surprised and shocked how many people aren't just buying long haul trucks. Is it the price of gas going up, or is that there's no more logistics in Canada's dying, but it's booming in Texas?
Well, if demand is going down to move those goods around, and to move that oil and the raw materials and hardware and metals and whatever else they're hauling, and of course finished goods from the ports. If demand falls, well then, if demand is high, well then truckers can raise their price. I mean, they can raise their rates to cover things like fuel or regulatory changes and things like that. But when demand drops, and yet the best, your fixed costs stay the same, then you're going to get to a point where trucks are going into the auction. Yeah.
Lawrence is bringing up something very important, actually. He says everyone is wondering how electric trucks are going to play out.
Oh, I have no wonder at all. They're not going to play out. There's no way they're going to play out. You think of the terawatts of power that we get from gasoline and diesel right now, that we're going to have to use our existing grid to produce, just to replace it. No, I don't think electric vehicles are going to happen at all. I mean,
how much oil, if we replaced every vehicle on the planet with electric cars, you know how much oil we're going to have to get out of the ground to make that stuff?
Absolutely.
People don't understand that. You know what I mean?
No, it's a massive mining operation and refining operation and transportation and incredibly energy intensive, just to produce the raw materials to make solar panels and windmills and tidal power grids and things like that. And there was a reason why we used fossil fuels, because you just dig it out of the ground or pump it out of the ground, and it's ready to go to work. That's not the case. There's no such thing as green energy yet. Like they're getting way ahead of themselves on this. Plus the amount of capital that it would take to make this happen, is on a scale that would make World War II look, like a picnic.
Yeah, a walk in the park. When you get a chance, Supreme, can you go on to my channel, my BitChute channel, when you get a chance? You could
Sure.
find my BitChute channel on the top of my channel here. On the right, there's a link on the top of my YouTube channel itself.
Okay.
On the right, there's a BitChute. Can you please watch my video there? It's on the right side. When you go to my channel, I'll show you what it looks like.
Okay, I'm just going.
You don't have to go right now. Actual World War II history part 1. Can you watch that? And then maybe we'll talk about this one day, because this actual World War II history part 1, I actually bought the rights to this video.
Oh yeah.
So I own the rights to this video. I bought the rights for this video like 8 years ago, like a long time ago. And it's a 6-part series, an hour and 42 minutes each episode. So I put up the first 2 on BitChute. Every time I put it on YouTube, I don't get flagged. It doesn't flag me, eh? It just says, because I give them the copyright, like I give them the information that they ask for when I dispute it, and they allow it, but it doesn't get more than 5 views.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so if you watch that video, you tell me why it doesn't have 5 views. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you'll see how it's a non-biased kind of looking at both sides of what really happened in World War II. Anyways, let's go back on topic. Study: 40% of Americans struggle to afford basic needs. Almost half of Americans can't pay their basic needs. ATO hangs up amid flood of calls from excited taxpayers seeking bonus in Australia. They're getting $1,080 from their government. Rural Australia struggling to put food on the table. I like this one. Supreme, you're going to have to comment on this. Canada posts the strongest job creation start since 2002 as wages rise. What the hell is going on? Is this just summer jobs, or summer jobs are opening up? What's going on?
Canada Post? I would imagine it is
Canada
summer.
Post's strongest job creation.
Oh my. I don't know. I have a good friend that works for Canada Post, and
No. Canada Post. Canada Post's.
Oh, Canada Post's strongest. Oh, okay, right. It's kind of blurry here. All right. Strongest
what
job
the hell is that?
creation.
Like, really?
Yeah.
I am
says-
losing the feed right now. Are you watching?
It says live stream offline here.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I have nothing connected to the internet but this computer. So it does this when I reach close to 100 people watching, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it's overpowering it, or maybe it's kicking you out automatically. There you are again.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, guys, with the feed. It happens every show now. Every show I do, it does this now. I never did this before. So.
Yeah. Canada Post strongest job creation. How is that possible? Are they specifying what sectors these? If they're talking service economy, well, all you have to do is just get the government to borrow a bunch of money and spend it into the economy, and I suppose you'd be creating a bunch of jobs for a while.
Interesting.
But you couldn't call them full-time jobs unless those people. That's the thing. Like they say, last quarter we produced, X number of 100,000 full-time jobs. Well, isn't a full-time job something that you have after a year or 2 or 5? Like, what's the criteria for a full-time job? That makes no sense. You might be full-time. You might have a summer job. You work full-time all summer, and then you're out of work again after Labor Day. That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking that's what it's saying there. I think that's what they're. Yeah. Western Australians struggling to put food and heat in the homes. New Zealand's working poor, and the push to understand how many are struggling. And then I got a report in from the University of Auckland here. 80,000 people relied on food parcels in Ireland last year. Almost 1 million Canadians give up food and heat to afford prescriptions. Half of Canadians can't afford foods recommended in new guide. I could see them changing. You know how they have the nutrition guide and what you should eat? I could see them changing that to more affordable foods. Oh, no, cheese is too expensive. Cut that out. Oh, milk, you can't afford that. Get that out of the nutrition table.
Yeah, eat more bread and cookies made of maggots and things like that, you know.
Yeah.
Just make it as expensive as possible, and just get people to eat more soy. More soy, and I mean, why is everyone pushing this Beyond Meat the last little while? Every fast food restaurant in the world is pushing Beyond Meat. Nobody asked for it. They're just flogging this stuff, and nobody wants it. They want cheap meat. They don't want Beyond Meat.
But what's the benefits of eating juices and stuff? It's like when Krusty the Clown ate a Krusty Burger for the first time on film that he had to do, and once he took a bite of that, he's like, "Oh my God, the juices! Give me some water!" You know?
Yeah.
Like,
That's right. Yeah, they make it to simulate exactly what beef does. Well, it's all pea protein and soy, and like it'd be the same ingredients you see on a box of cereal, like stuff that you couldn't even pronounce. It's just ridiculous. Nobody wants it. Nobody asked for it.
Yeah, I know. You brought up a really good point. You brought up a really good point on that. It's like nobody asked for it. Nobody wants it. What do you want from us? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I suspect it's got something to do with because it seems strange that it came up right about the time that we wound up with this trade embargo with China. And all of a sudden, you probably got all these extra legumes that you got to get rid of somehow. So, okay, well, we'll turn it into meat and flog it to the people. We'll sell it somehow. We'll get rid of it somehow. Because we've had tofu, we've had all different kinds of fake meat forever. It's just, and it's always a small section of the market. People that want to eat meat want to eat meat. Simple as that. So
I mean, if you want to eat meat, it's like like those plastic dolls they try to sell now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Andrew Trapman, you trade Beyond Meat. That's all it's good for. That's what I read. It's like it did 40 million or something in revenue, and it's got like $1 billion market cap.
You know what? But it has nothing in it. There's nothing there. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good then, isn't it? Yeah, you're taking nothing and turning it into something. I guess you could call that value creation.
It's a hollow. It's a hollow company. It's a hollow shell. I looked into its background, and I read like 7 pages of where they're at and where they're growing, but they have nothing to show in the growth. You know what I'm trying to say? It's not like they opened 200 plants across America to produce this stuff. So how's it growing, right? That's the main question, right? But Beyond Meat is bigger than some of those small oil stocks on the stock market.
Oh, definitely. Drew Davies. Yeah. Okay, we'll see, man. For sure. Maybe people were demanding it. I mean, if the demand is there, it'll sell. It'll work good. We'll see. No problem.
Yeah, of course we're gonna see what's happening.
Yeah.
Where's the beef? So what is happening in your opinion? People can't afford to buy anything. Wages don't meet productivity. It's been a long time. We've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah.
And, the vast 81% of the populations should be at least earning $77,000 to $81,000 per year for basic, solid productivity type jobs. Am I going overboard saying 77 to 81,000 per year?
No, that should be where middle class is. That's where they should be. You shouldn't need a high school diploma for that. I mean, if you took the average factory worker's wage in the States anyway in the early 70s, it would be the equivalent of over 100K today.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
In terms of purchasing power, and yet no one is at those levels, and a lot of jobs start at $16 an hour. That hasn't been good money for a very, very long time. So it's like there's a problem there.
But here's the thing. I think wages should go up, right? Because I'm talking about I believe in capitalism because capitalism would work if wages adjusted to inflation, right?
Yeah, sure.
Now, my thing is there is so much investment in human capital right now.
Yeah.
And in the early 80s, right? But what I'm trying to say is that where's the delta? What happened to the delta? Wages are not going up, but where's the delta in between? Where's that other money?
Well, I think it was taken up by debt. Like you've said many times, we used to be a wealth building society. I mean, the reason that I think that banks paid better interest rates is because they wanted that capital, and the main way that you got that capital is you had to attract people's savings.
Hmm.
So but people aren't saving anymore. But the reason they aren't saving is because they're all up to their forehead in debt to try to run in one place. I mean, yeah, the price of some things has it's come down a lot for sure. Some things productivity has made up for the difference, but it's not like that. The purchasing power overall to live the kind of life and the kind of family life that people had 50 years ago is just not there.
It's unaffordable.
It's unaffordable.
But as for a country as a whole, people are forgetting that our exports pay for our imports, right? And the problem is Canada isn't making anything that the Chinese want, right? And
No,
the Chinese middle class is powerful. It's big. The Chinese middle class is huge. There's a lot of millionaires. They got I think it's 30, 40, 50 million, 30 million millionaires living in China, maybe more.
Yeah.
But the problem is we no longer have organized labor like we did, right? And
No.
we're not producing anything that China wants.
No, we're not. And it's less likely now that they're going to take it. It will be a question of people in China demanding to get paid more. Obviously, they're a little less inclined to riot in the streets because they live in a communist society. But you've got other ways of fighting back. I mean, that's probably partly why the Soviet Union collapsed. Yeah, you had absolute control of everybody, and you had people listening on every street corner. But that's ruinously expensive, and sooner or later, you've got to show people the benefits, or they stop believing in it. And I think the only way that you can make the Chinese believe in their system is if things are getting progressively better for them. So either they have to pay people more, or they got to get the price of things down. And like you've mentioned yourself in a previous show, they're taking industrial facilities from China and they're relocating them to, Burma and Cambodia and Vietnam to look for that difference, that currency advantage.
Yeah. And what's happened is you start seeing, they had to lower rates. Now that they've lowered interest rates across the board, every English-speaking country followed in suit. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
How it's all like a domino effect with every English-speaking country. Why? Because they depended on heavily on the banking system. And the difference is from where we are now to when we had the Great Depression, the big crash of 29, the difference is people in 1929 didn't have credit cards. A lot of people in 1929 did not own their own homes. A lot of people rented, right?
Yeah.
Because that was the mass immigration coming in from Europe. So a lot of people didn't have money to buy a house when they arrived, so they rented, right? So
That's right.
A lot of people didn't own. So you're going to see a huge difference in this correction. So they're trying to do it in every way possible by throwing everything at this economy, by lowering rates, quantitative easing. And all they're doing is we're losing value in our dollar. Our treasuries take a hit. And then there's a runoff on bond sales. Our bonds become, and treasury bonds become useless. And you're going to see huge sell-off on bonds. And it's going to be an absolute freaking disaster.
Yes. Yeah, there will. I mean, it is a disaster. It absolutely is a disaster right now. I mean, the difference between what people can earn and what it costs them to live is getting to the point where it's insupportable. A lot of it, I think, still is inertia because of expectations. We all still expect that we're going to have better lives than our parents did, and than their parents before them, and that kind of thing. And it's not happening. Not without a bunch of debt. Not unless everybody goes into debt. And people are addicted to consumption. Like I've said many times, the worst kind of plastic pollution on this planet is a credit card, because you put trillions of dollars of purchasing power into the hands of people that should never have gotten it. Just completely unqualified, and everyone suffers for it.
Yep. Everybody suffers for this. You know what I'm saying? It's become a problem where we're forgetting, it's almost like we didn't learn from history.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, they don't even teach history anymore. Yeah, that's true, Lawrence. It's like any other drug. Use in moderation and don't get hooked. That's asking a lot of most people today, unfortunately. That's been kind of the problem. Or you might have somebody in the household who's responsible. I mean, you have a lot of divorces and you have a lot of issues because you've got one breadwinner or one person in the house that wants to be careful with their money, and then they find out the other one's racked up $50,000 on the visa, and then what are you supposed to do? That's the thing. You can't even create family wealth anymore. Between the divorces and people simply not getting married and forming families, and then losses like this is just, like, people are just floundering. They're stuck in the mud and they can't get out.
Yeah, it's getting really bad. It's just the population isn't making what it should be making, and it's just there's trillions of dollars in Delta. Like, where is it? Like you said, it might have gone and into debt, like you said.
Yeah, that's it. That's how people maintain their place. They have to maintain a level of debt. Well, even if it's debt that they can control, even if it's something that they can control and not overdo it, it's still an extra payment that they have to make. It's an extra drag of money that they're transferring to a finance company in order to buy the things that they need. And that it shouldn't be necessary. You shouldn't need banks and credit card companies helping you buy groceries. That's something that you should be able to do on your own. So
yeah, you should be able to go buy food on your own. Yeah, you know how many people, today it was kind of funny. I was in the checkout there this morning, and sometimes when my wife doesn't have time, I usually go to the Buy Low Foods or Save On Foods to go buy. They have fresh made sandwiches there in their deli. They have fresh made salads and everything. So I just go, I kind of go through, pick up a few things. And everybody in the lineup is like, one guy's buying a bottle of ketchup on his Visa. The other lady, the only lineup that's filled with people is the lineup with 10 items or less is completely slammed.
Oh, always. Yeah.
I go into the other lineup where it's like one lady with a shopping cart with 5 items. And there's nobody walking around with full shopping carts anymore. Go shopping, do typical shopping. Go look around. See how many people see how many people have their shopping carts full.
Not a lot. Yeah. Even my little town, the grocery store here, unless it's a long weekend and then people are coming in from out of town and then they really spend a lot of money. Otherwise, you don't see that. They got 10 items or less generally.
Here's the inflation image here. So this is the inflation image that I used to put up once in a while on Facebook to kind of wake people up. So $20, this is what $20 bought you in 1998. There's the shopping carts full.
Yeah.
This is what $20 bought you in 2005, but not in Canada though. This is in the States, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
then what $20 buys you in 2013, right? Yeah. So here it is, guys. I wanted to show this to you guys because this is a very famous image. And let me open this up for you guys to see here.
I've got the spinning wheel on my feed here, Mike, and I'm afraid to refresh because it might drop the call. So
that's okay.
I'll take your word for it here.
Yeah, my friend is a manager of a supermarket, and yes, Mike, people are just buying essentials. Yeah, just to get by.
Yeah, it's harsh. It really is. But I'll tell you what, I've lived in this town more or less continuously for 40 years. I've probably spent 8 of those years out of this area total. And I can say that a good part of the reason that the people around here, whether they were making good money or not, is they either drink too much, or they're on their 5th relationship, or they spend way too much time buying break open tickets in the pub, and there's just a lot of money getting thrown away too. So I'm always skeptical when people say they can't meet their needs, because my God, the definition of a need has definitely changed in the last 40, 50 years.
Yeah, because remember at the beginning of the show, we went over Maslow's hierarchy of needs here.
Yeah.
And we discussed needs versus wants, and what do we want and what do we need, right?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Everybody, now people need a Lamborghini. It's like,
Well, that's right. Yeah. If everyone isn't, if you're not, if you don't have 6-pack abs and the women are all Instagram bikini models, well, then why are you even alive? Your life just sucks. Mm-hmm. And you've seen that too. You've seen a cult of youth and a cult of rebellion that people live in. Did we really need all these Harley Davidsons farting up and down the highway every summer? Like, really? Mm-hmm. Did we need all that? And this is the thing. It's people that think, oh, well, I can afford it. But no, you can't. You took out a loan to buy this thing, right? And I'm not going to begrudge people for having boats and cycles and things like that, because in the end, what are you working for if you can't have any fun?
Right.
Right. If you don't mind making the payment, well, then, there's a quality of life issue that you're dealing with. And as long as you can afford the payment, well, fine, fill your boots. But it's just, you see so many people, well, especially summertime in the Shuswap, you see thousands and thousands and thousands of people doing the exact same thing at exactly the same time. They just left the crowd where they live and just came to join the crowd here. There's no contrarian thinking at all here.
Okay, I got another super chat from Crank Standing. People never discuss the strength and monetary currency that is not gold based. Can you explain, if possible, why the global benefits of perks? Here's the thing. We were decentralized off the gold system. Was it 1972 during the Richard Milhouse Nixon administration?
Yeah.
And the problem is, America wanted to buy more things and go into more wars or get into more things. And the only way they could do is by depegging the dollar off of gold. And the only president that got close to getting that fixed was John Fitzgerald Kennedy in 1961, when he worked towards backing the U.S. dollar with silver, right? Or backing it with silver and getting rid of the whole...
getting rid of the Federal
Reserve, right? Yeah. Which is a foreign entity on American soil. But I think Australia deregulated their banks in 74, and I think the UK did it in 71, 72, and then the UK sold all their gold. The Queen of England sold all their gold away back in the day. Yeah. And, the thing is, what were they buying gold at door to door around World War II when they had the gold confiscation?
Well, what they were doing in America, because that was unprecedented. Not only did they confiscate the gold currency and melt it down into bars, but they also forbade the owning of gold unless you were a collector. You could buy jewelry and things like that, obviously, but you couldn't own anything remotely resembling currency. But so what people did during the Depression is they bought shares of the big gold mining companies. The biggest gains that people made in the 30s and through the World War II era was an outfit called Homestake Mining. That stock went to the moon over 10 or 15 years because it was a proxy for owning gold.
Yeah.
And then the price was fixed at $35 an ounce up to 1971. And then they finally gave up the illusion that it was actually that bad because the French especially, were starting to demand the gold instead. They said, well, we don't trust your currency. Like, you've got this great society, this welfare state you're building, plus you've got this war in Vietnam, plus this huge military machine that basically turned all of Europe into an American colony. Yep. So we want gold. So they once in a while.
Dwight David Eisenhower said that in his speech his last speech he said to the nation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So what Nixon had to do ultimately, because the only alternative was get your spending under control. Well, everybody knew that wasn't going to happen. So he had no choice. He had to try to preserve what currency gold the U.S. had, because by the time he did that, half of the total U.S. stock of gold had been redeemed.
That's right.
By other countries, and there was going to be a run on it if somebody didn't do something. So it was supposed to be a temporary measure to decouple the dollar from gold. You couldn't redeem it gold anymore.
Right.
And of course, what happened over the next 8-9 years is basically the whole world took the U.S.'s shorts and pulled them down around their ankles and said, the U.S. is a banana republic, and we're not loaning you any more money unless we get 20% for it.
Right.
The U.S. was proven at that point to be run like a banana republic.
Well, that same thing happened to the UK, London, with the pound sterling. You used to trade in your sterling for silver, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right, sterling silver, right? Pound sterling. Crank Standing says the assumption is that is bad, and I get the angle, but do you understand how it keeps America in control of global values ongoing? Well, no. You see, the petrodollar is what keeps America's global values going, and that funds the war machine, military-industrial complex, and in return, basically, they've been funding off war for the longest time, right? And they need to change the channel and find something else because it's really getting old, and a lot of people are starting to wake up to this. You know what I'm saying? But the petrodollar, basically, any country that the reason why it's the reserve currency, that any country that wants to buy oil, they have to purchase American dollars, and with those American dollars, they can purchase their oil. And every country, so that's why you have billions, if not trillions of dollars every week flowing around in U.S. currency, because countries need to purchase American dollars to buy oil.
That's right, and everybody needs oil.
Right.
It's the biggest industry on the planet.
And that's why
is energy. Yeah.
And that's why the American dollar has been pegged as the world currency for the longest time, right?
Yeah, that's right. They basically, when the big Saudi fields were taken, and they needed an alternative, and of course by this time you had the oil embargo, you had OPEC, you had those lineups because people couldn't buy gas in the States. And ironically enough, if you had some of those pre-1964 U.S. Silver coins, you could buy gas. They would take that. You could go to the front of the line. Otherwise, it was rationing. It was just basically, and they tried to control inflation with wage and price controls, which was the Soviet-style system. They did the same thing in Canada. They had it here for a long time. They had rationing, I think, for 10 years in Britain after the war. Well, because they were so broke.
Yeah.
And the British actually tried to make a deal with the Saudis first. They were going to ask the Saudis, if we guarantee the House of Saud military protection, will you exclusively sell your oil in pound sterling? But the Americans got there first, and they said, well, we'll go one better than that. We'll build bases in Saudi Arabia. You'll be the royal family of Saudi Arabia forever if you agree to this. So they did, and from that point on, that was the precedent. The whole world had to buy U.S. dollars in order to buy oil, and then basically every other commodity. Right. Yeah, that's right, Lawrence. It's not just oil; it's everything. Every commodity on the planet is traded in U.S. dollars, and there's just been nobody up to this point that has been able to contest them, that at least has had the strength, short of nuclear weapons, to tell the Americans to take a hike.
Okay, here goes. Right, Supreme Canon. All right, I got the measuringworth.com website. I go on it once in a while to understand buying power and different prices of what things were cost. It's called measuringworth.com. Check it out. So in 1975, $1 in today's money would be $12.20.
Yeah.
And the real price of the commodity, it tells you right here, and economic share of that commodity is $12.20. Real wage and real wealth is $4.66. Relative output value of that income or wealth is $12.20.
Yeah.
And now let's go back to what minimum wage is today. Let's say it's $12, okay?
Okay.
All right, so sorry. I don't want to do today. I want to do minimum wage in 1975. Was it $3.75 an hour?
Something like that.
It was about $3.75 an hour for some places there. So people need to make roughly in today's that gave you it's worth $45.60 today. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad, and it's been a slow motion. Actually, there was a gentleman named Doug Casey. He's a famous one of those offshore guys, right? Like being a world citizen, getting more than one passport, that kind of thing, protecting your wealth around the world. And he had a chart, I remember 10 years ago, where you took the S&P 500, like the Dow Jones, the American stock market, from 1969 up until 2009 is, of course, that's how far the chart went to. And so you see this line that goes from lower left to upper right, like I'm always saying everybody wants to see. And you have a couple of crashes, like the 87 crash, but by the end of the by the middle of the 1990s, of course, that little bump was completely gone, and it just looked like it was going to take off forever. But when you price the U.S. stock market in gold, the line is flat.
Yeah.
From 1969 probably to today. The line is absolutely flat. In fact, it's gone down a little bit. He called it the invisible crash, and
Well,
that basically is
it's so heavily
what we're living with.
manipulated, you know that. With naked
It is.
naked stock buybacks is killing it.
Yeah, that's right. It's so crooked. It's a little club, and we're not in it. And there are ways for people to prosper without being in it. But man, you have to be ready for anything. You gotta know a lot about money.
Okay, I have someone that worked as a janitor in 1975 in one of the universities was making $129 a week.
Yeah.
We're gonna calculate that. That's almost $1,600 a week in today's money.
Yeah, you could drive a cab and make a comfortable middle class lifestyle in the 60s and the 70s. You could take the wife on vacation. You could do all of that stuff. Because there was at least an understanding.
And taxes were less. Taxes weren't as harsh back then either.
No, they weren't. I think part of the reason taxes have gotten as bad as they are is of course when people's purchasing power go down, well, they got a couple of ways that they can deal with that, right? Number one is, we need to tighten up the labor market to get wages up and things like that, which just doesn't ever seem to be on the radar. The other thing is you got to borrow more money, or you've got to demand the government do something about it. And what does the government do? Well, they usually set up some kind of credit, or they set up some kind of program. Oh, good, we're going to get a supplement for this, and we're going to get a supplement for that, and we're going to get a break here and a break there, and then it'll take the boot off our neck, and then we can look after the middle class, quote unquote, right? But all that winds up happening is just kicking the expense further down the road. Well, all these bills are coming due now, and people are getting crushed by it.
Holy crap! Listen to this.
Okay.
Ounce of gold from 1901 value to today is $14,600 an ounce.
Yeah.
So an ounce of gold in 1901 is basically the buying power. That's why all these Klondike gold rush guys were complete billionaires overnight, because it's worth in that time $14,600 from the value of 1 ounce of gold in today's money.
Absolutely. When gold was money, then you would literally go out and you would dig up money from the ground. So the California gold rush, the Klondike, the Yukon, anywhere, the silver rush in Nevada. Mexico, of course, has been a major producer of silver since the time of the Spanish conquistadors, and still is today.
But I used to live actually in a mining town in Mexico for 2 years. It's called Tasco, and that was a silver town. But anyways, I don't want to get off topic. So an ounce of gold's value basically in today's money would be $14,600. So it goes back to what you were telling us about how gold flatlined and they manipulated it and they did everything in their power to keep it below its commodity true value.
Yes, you can. Now, that's where it should be, and so that's been the argument against it as well. It hasn't kept pace with inflation, but Warren Buffett has pointed that out. If you'd put $1,000 or something into the stock market in 1942 and you'd put it into gold, the stock market, you'd have 100 times more value. But gold, first of all, the price was capped. You weren't allowed to own it until 1971. It was capped at $35 until I think the London Gold Pool tried to settle it at that price. I think the gold that the Federal Reserve has on hand right now, if they have it, I'm actually hoping that they do. Although if it's been leased, that doesn't mean that it's actually been removed, right? But it's held on their books at $42 an ounce right now. So all they'd have to do is revalue it to where it should be, and it would be a lot more reserves for the U.S. Treasury. But when you take that, and then you realize that, yes, the price of gold has been badly manipulated. I mean, it took 20% interest rates, Mike, to knock the stuffing out of gold and silver.
Yeah.
20%. We couldn't handle 5% right now without collapsing the global economy.
I know.
They had to
that
pay
was
20.
1979, 1980, 81?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is a whole lot of sec. So this is more feasible to buy an ounce of gold, a troy ounce of gold today from a bullion gold market. Go back to 1901.
Yeah.
And you'd have $14,600 buying power.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're better off going back to 1901 with 10 ounces of gold.
Yeah.
You'd live like a millionaire.
Oh, you'd be doing great. Yeah, you'd be making great money. And the thing is in the 19th century, before the Federal Reserve, when industrialization began to take over, an old widow could put a $20 gold piece in her cupboard and go to use it 20 years later, and it would actually buy more than when she put it away, just because the cost of production of everything had gone down so much. Right. So there was a time when gold money actually appreciated in purchasing power, even though it didn't pay a dividend or a royalty or anything like that. It's just because the increases of productivity made it more, you could buy more with it for a long time. So you're going to need something like that again. That I think Bitcoin was a good attempt, but I'll be honest with you, I think it's going to fall short. But I think that either it will struggle through and power through.
Okay, so you're better off taking gold back to the past. Oh, we're losing Lord Humongous here. Lord Humongous, we're losing Supreme Cannon here. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Come on. So we lost Supreme Cannon. Let's see who's Oh, somebody wants to add me on Skype. Hello. Lots of people adding me on Skype. Mike Martin's 1980. Send me a one-liner. Tell me what's going on. If you want to come on the show, guys, there's lots going on right now. You look at the price of, so if you go back in time with an ounce of gold from today's value, you get so much more buying power. That's how bad it is today. That's how bad things have gotten today, right? And then now with all these big companies and all these doing all these naked stock buybacks, and everyone shorting gold, and everyone they're manipulating it so much. And let's get Lord Humongous. Oh, wait. We got Amisha. Let's see if she wants to come on the show.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you doing? I just came home.
Yes, I know. I saw your message there. You caught a Mike in the Night on a Saturday night.
Yes.
So we were talking about earlier, most of the show, working poor and people not affording to buy food anymore. So people having a tough time either buying medication and not buying food, or not paying for heat, or what's going on? Are you noticing this in supermarkets? Are you noticing the crunch in people?
Mike, this started 2017-16 when the prices went crazy. And I don't know how they are saying that there are a lot of jobs that they're creating, but you must understand, even if they employ someone for a day, that person is technically off the job market, meaning they're no longer unemployed. So I definitely know that the only jobs that they're generating are part-time jobs, or jobs that are highly stressed and have a lot of targets. There are not many people who are happy anymore.
Yeah, because I know a couple of guys that got hired on full-time, but on commission and stuff, right?
So that's correct, Mike. And the thing is that they're not even the part-time jobs they're giving directly. They're hiring through these agencies. The ones I'm talking about. They start with the M's. Yeah, I don't want to name those companies, but this is an open fact in Canada. Everybody knows about it.
Yeah, it's happening. I think it's stemming off the housing struggle that we went through with foreign investing, and then now it's happening in Australia. It's happening in every country that had a housing issue, or the first world countries right now are living in third world conditions.
Standard formula. It's like consumerism, and it's like, what they're doing is they even to give you a job, they're keeping their commissions. And this is not just typical to Canada. It started this is all these companies, the ones who are, generating these jobs or hiring people for the employers. The employers are happy because they don't have to, no EI, no responsibility. Anything can happen to these part timers.
Hmm.
So I definitely know it's not very easy. I know that people, there's shifts. People are moving places, like what you've been saying, Mike. It's very prominent.
And
It's all about.
we were looking at measuringworth.com, and we were looking at the buying power. So in 1975, that's when everything started deregulating. But if you made, I think it was $3.75 an hour in 1975, that is $45.60 buying power in today's money. So what happened was people aren't making $45.60 anymore minimum wage, right? So
Yes,
that's
we
that.
were from hereafter. Imagine all those millennials coming out with these new jobs. So it's like people don't. You're right. It's like those people. Most of the new, the first time workers or young people can't just afford their own place. Mike. It's not like that anymore. I know at least of so many people around me whose children are living with them.
Mhm.
It's not like we used to have at our times that we would live away from our parents. Our incomes were good. If you were educated, you could get a decent job. It's not like that anymore.
You know,
It's not like that anymore. And it's this is the world we've created because of the capitalism.
mhm.
Your talent, your thinking, it doesn't really matter. What matters is, how well you're placed, how much muscle power, how much connections you have. Things are not really straight. We've twisted the world pretty much. People who, like you were talking of that factor between all that money that was printed.
Yes,
Where is it going? Where it's gone? It's gone to those people who have bought back their own shares,
yes,
who have the
stock
power.
buybacks and naked buybacks. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. They're promoting all that, right? So all that money which was supposed to, calm down in the system, it never reached the system because those people up there, the big bankers, they control the whole world. We think they are, we let's accept it, Mike. This is all a global phenomena,
Hmm.
and that's another reason why the system probably is correcting itself. You see, you look at US now; they're deglobalizing. Now we gotta be on an era of deglobalizing because we need to correct the system. We look at it as a trade war, but the system will start correcting itself.
Yes. Are you sitting down to hear this? I want you to sit down to
Here,
hear this. Okay, the average doctor in 1975 made $22,000 a year. Okay.
yeah.
Do you know what
So
that is in today's money?
I'm a 70 born, so I know what you're talking. I've had my cousins, and so
Well,
that's
let me tell you.
actually.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. $22,000 a year for the average doctor in 1975 in today's money is
Yeah,
$268,000.
absolutely, and that's near about 10 times
You see,
what that
but
was.
the average doctor, I know some doctors, they're making less than 70,000 a year. They're not making nowhere near what they made in 1975. People think, "Oh, I make 70,000 a year." Yeah, but in 1975 they made $22,000 a year, and that could buy them $268,000 in our money today.
And the cost of education. The doctors don't want to be doctors anymore.
Oh yeah, the cost of education. But imagine being a doctor in 1975 making $22,000 a year, and that's valued at $268,000 today.
Yeah.
Imagine the price cut or the lost wages that, or like, I mean, it's sad. You know what? And it goes back to what you said. The decentralizing of our currency, the money printing, and basically stealing our futures away.
Yeah, the QEs that we've created. Anyway, the system will be correcting itself. That's what's going to happen because they're creating these middlemen and middle people. Just who don't. And they're not hiring people directly. They want to go through these people who create these job agency companies.
Hmm.
It's sad. It'll have to correct. You just can't go on like this. You just can't keep on creating demands and not being noticed. Now it's everybody knows what's happening. Everybody knows about it, Mike.
Yeah.
Everybody. Who's going to pay taxes? Tell me, who's going to pay taxes?
Well, the thing is, they got to pay the taxes because who's going to pay for our doctors and who's going to pay for the police that arrest us? Who's going to pay for the those stop checkpoints to check to see if you're drinking?
So that's why the budgets are not they deficits. That's why the government is spending more because they're not getting more.
Well, remember what our friend Trudeau said a few months back? Oh, the budget will work itself out.
Yes, I know. So he said that a few years ago, the budgets will balance itself. It's not going to work,
It's not.
That's why they're running with those torchlights behind people. You see they're asking from where I know of friends who bought houses and now they're being asked, you didn't declare so much of income, so how are you buying those houses? But those friends bought their houses from those savings. So that's what I tell people. Why do you have to put everything in a house? I mean, like, don't buy it. Just let it be. Don't do it. You don't have a stable job, and it's just not here. It's anywhere in the world. Why do you want to, as you said, do we need it?
It's need and
This is
wants.
something.
We need food.
Yeah.
We want lobster. We need a car to go to work. We want a Ferrari.
Yes, endless wants, and and we want to show. But this is something which we all need to correct, Mike. We all as human beings, we just can't keep on having a sadistic pleasure that we get by showing off. This is what I have. This is what I own. We need to be more simple. We need to be more grounded as individuals. That's when we'll start asking the right kind of questions. It starts with me. I think this is where I need to probably change too. So before. I also I prefer I'm like what I like to be the change that I like to see in others. So, and I like the way you speak, live in a simple house, just pay that much that's needed. You're doing the right thing, Mike. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Lead a simple life. You can't buy a house somewhere expensive. Go live somewhere cheap.
No, I move
The
somewhere
world,
cheap. Well, why would I spend that much money? Why would I spend $2 million on a house that's realistically worth 100,000?
and forget about the house, the cars, the clothes. Why do you need to contribute to consumerism? That this is what is driving the whole world crazy. Oh, this is what I have. It is going to change. We need to look at what we are as human beings. What am I? What is my need? And my wants are never going to end.
People are forgetting. A lot of people, like when I was a kid, when I was young, and a lot of people would ask, instead of need and want, they would ask, what is my purpose in life? And I don't hear anyone asking that anymore.
It's going to go back. As I said, we all going to be going back to it, Mike. That's the only way we're going to get out of this consumerism that's driving all the world crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to. That's the only way out. We have to be much more near each other. In fact, now I've seen that change getting in because everybody is into these problems. Everybody wants to talk now. They started cheering, they started talking, they started reaching out. At least if I'm in trouble, I like to reach out. Like that's what I feel. It's better that we all speak as human beings and connect with each other's problems because it's just not one person. It's going to eventually, we're all in the same world, right?
Well, of course, we all we only exist because of each other, right?
So that's something which we have to realize. We'll have to seek within ourselves. That's the only way out, Mike. That is the only way out.
It went all wrong with the deregulation of the banking system, the deregulation of the gold, the deregulation of the markets, the quantitative easing. It got bad.
Coming.
Things got bad real fast. So
you can't, this will keep on the shadow thing, shadow banking, private this thing, all this will keep on happening. But we need to go past the clutter and the chatter and think what I am doing. It starts within me, inner thinking, inward improvement. We'll have that age of enlightenment. We'll have to get that back again. See, as I said, have faith within us because we're making it difficult for ourselves and our children. Where is this competition? Where is this? Like I want my kid to be educated and the best. No, it's not going to work.
No.
Let's lead a simple life.
It means nothing. It means nothing because, again, like if you were a doctor in 1975, you had the good life. But if you're heavily educated now, you got to pay for all those student loans. And even if someone pays your college for you, you're still not going to make enough to live.
Even if you get a good job, even if you do everything, there's a stress. There's something that the system's always watching you. So might as well just not bother. Do what is simple and nice. Be happy. because eventually what matters is my happiness, and meaning if I'm happy, will I be able to keep people happy around me, right? So
Exactly.
that's where we all need to. The system will keep on. If not this, there'll be some other problem. We as human beings, we need to be more inward thinking. We need to see what are we doing. What is the purpose of my birth? Like what have I? Why have I been created? If I can't even give some happiness to someone. Like so we need to be more positive and get that feeling in each other. These things are gonna go on, Mike. It's gonna be worse from here if we don't start looking within us. It's gonna get worse.
Oh, of course it's going to get worse. It's going to get things are going to get to the point where I don't know. It's not that it's gonna get worse. I think we're gonna accept it getting worse. But what the problem is, it's gonna get worse, but we're gonna accept it. But we're gonna the media will start reevaluating that it's all good and bring it in and accept it, right? People have already accepted, the young people, the millennials, have already accepted that they can never afford a house. Now, you know what they're talking about now? The next generation after the millennials, they're accepting that they can never own a car now because it's too expensive.
Yes, that's what I hear now. That's what everybody says. A car is going to be as expensive as a house, and so be it, because all that bragging about things. Why? Because it's how did it start? Who are these people who have the power? They're one of us, right? One of us human beings. So we have to start correcting ourselves and have our children, or this is what is education, Mike. We need to be more basic. We just become so complicated. We want to learn the high tech and stuff, but we've forgotten the basic human values.
Of course. Well, we've
That
taken it because
family.
we've been blind to the money. Money has blinded us.
We'll have to stop all that, all that endless want. We'll have to stop that power of consumerism, basically.
Well,
You know,
I stopped wanting things a long time ago.
that's so nice, It's so nice, Mike. That's the only way that we're gonna be more happy because you see, the government, like, things will keep on going on. They keep on happening. They'll keep on economics of things will keep on going on, and things will keep on. So you just can't run away from it. But the only thing is, you can be a better human being. We can contribute to it as a better human being, not just go for greed. Just be basic in life because that's the only way out.
Hmm.
That's the only way out. Live simple, live down to earth.
Okay,
Uh,
you ready for this?
tell me, I am.
College professor. Average pay in 1949 was $5,900 in 1949. $5,900. That is equivalent to $444,000 a year today.
Do you know that college professors are not even getting a permanent job? They prefer part-timers, and those poor college professors I know of, now they give extra tuitions just to make it up to live, It's so difficult to. I know of people who are working and are part-time lecturers and are earning money because that's the only way they can survive.
But but it's so sad that we have to take gold from today and buy it at 1,400 an ounce, go back to 1949, okay, and sell it for $5,900 in 1949. That's worth almost 400 grand in today's money.
Yeah, so the money is all losing its value. So
Exactly.
so
So because wages, so if a professor in 1949, if wages kept up with inflation, they should be making about 400,000 a year.
mm,
Yeah, a high school teacher was 3,900. Let me check. From 1949 was 3,900 a year, 3,900 a year in 1949. That is $293,000 today.
and it was so easy for us to get those jobs, high school teachers, and these were very good jobs, bankers, doctors, engineers. Now engineers, even you can be an engineer from Waterloo, you're not even getting a job, Mike. It's so difficult.
Unless you learn Portuguese and move to Brazil, you get a job.
Well, I feel that this is a phenomena which is very common to all over the world. So I was listening to what you were saying, Mike. This was a few days ago. Was it you? I remember that the governments were more hell-bent, like a few years ago, the Canadian government, or let us say any government for that matter. I'll tell you why. Because this is happening. The world, everything doesn't happen at the same time. So some things will happen at some, they're like these dots up and down, like the throws and the crests and the throws, the high points, the peaks and the throws. So now I was listening to you. Was it you? Yeah, I think it was you. And I was reading for that matter somewhere that what was my, yeah, they wanted people to start small businesses, start something productive. That is the only way out. More people doing more small, simple things which will start the economic engine. That's the only way it's going to turn around.
You know, you know what's funny? If you were a dog walker in 1949, you'd make more money than what an engineer makes today.
Mm.
Because of the value of the money. That's how worthless our income. Like it's like you said it earlier. It's like I'm looking at the commodity price, the value of consumption, the labor value, economic share from 1949. It's phenomenal. All you needed to do was make $1 an hour, and you would make, what would that be, $1 an hour today? So $1 an hour in 1949, what would that give you today? That would give you $75.20 in today's money.
So the money is eventually going to lose value, and all those people who stash that money away, eventually it's going to be no worth.
Yeah, and if you invest in gold and silver, it's a good hedge against inflation. But if you invest in maybe some good, decent stocks, I don't know, but you could do well. You know what I'm saying? Like I buy what do you call stocks? Dividend paying stocks, where they pay me every month for borrowing my money, right? And some of them are paying me 7% a month on my money. So,
Yeah, I used to do that a lot before, but now I feel now at this stage, right, this point, I think we're in a everything bubble. So I just closed all my positions.
well, no, hold on. I think oil, gold, coffee, and a couple of other commodities and are severely undervalued too. I believe oil and gold is severely undervalued, and coffee too. Coffee is very undervalued right now. So those are markets that people should look at.
That could be, you might have a point, but as a person who's on the other side, I feel it's such a bubble that there has to be some sort of correction, right?
There
But
has to
again,
be.
as you
But
say,
back in the
I'm
day,
not
we had those corrections by crashes, right? We had the big crash of 1929.
but now it's like it happens every hour.
Yeah, it's like every hour there's a different thing going down. There's another thing going. There's another. And it's, yeah. I know what you're saying, and they always find a way to prop it up, eh?
Yes, yes, and some trade embargo, some tariffs, you don't know, and even if they may not apply. People just say things which I don't know how that works too, because there's some things which the country head should not talk about, and they can say anything to drive the markets anywhere. Who knows who are they feeding to?
Are
Like,
you are
nobody
you
knows.
are you gonna vote for your friend Trudeau?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Yeah. In Canada, it's actually illegal to ask people who they vote for.
Oh, it's all over. It's even India, like we're a democracy, the same thing. We can't ask, and we can't even speak. We can't speak. We might give we're allowed to give opinion because they say it's like you influencing people's opinion. So it's the same thing even there. You can't speak directly. It's entirely everyone's wish, but me, I'm not gonna give you my opinion. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm telling you about free will.
Yeah. No,
Well,
I understand. I understand. All
yeah.
right. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna thank you very much for being with us on the phone till 2 o'clock in the morning your time.
No, I was just reading something. I just got off my book, and it was a Saturday. I came home from dinner. I thought I'll just switch on the TV and listen to something nice. I saw you. Yeah, it was nice talking to you.
Yeah, no, thanks for taking the time to talk to us and give us your angle.
Right.
Okay, you have a good night, okay? Good morning.
Have a nice weekend. Cheers. Bye.
Bye. All right, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning where she's at. Yep. Anyways, okay. I wanted to put this out there. Let's go over a couple of the other headlines here. So this is it, guys. This is why people make, well, I got a raise at work. Well, this is what $20 buys you in 2013. Imagine 2019 what $20 buys you nowadays. Food insecurity. Millions of Canadians struggle to put food on the table. Close. Half of Canadians can't afford foods recommended in new guide. Close. Almost 1 million Canadians give up food to heat to afford prescriptions. 80,000 people relied on food parcels in Ireland last year. That's a lot of people. New Zealand's working poor, and they push to understand how many people are struggling. That's our calculator there. Canada, yeah, strong job creation. Woo! Since 2002. Yeah, Canada posts strongest job creation since 2002 as wages rise. All right, let's move on. Rural Australians struggling to put food on the table. This is the ATO hangs up on amid flood of calls from excited taxpayers seeking a bonus. So taxpayers are getting a bonus this year. $1,000, $1,080, and in Australia, and they got 50,000 calls in 5 days to get their refund. Almost half of Americans can't pay for their basic needs. 40% of Americans struggle to afford basic needs. Needs and wants. We went over needs and wants. We covered some of the basic news. Covered a bit of the markets tonight on Mike in the Night. Guys, don't forget to buy me a coffee on Patreon. $1 a month if you want to support me on Patreon. I'm on BitChute. Guys, get on my BitChute. It's really good. This BitChute's awesome. I want you to see my documentaries. Some of them, there's a couple of documentaries I actually own the rights to on some of these here. So check them out. I got a really good documentary on BitChute. How the Barbarians Toppled Rome. There's a really good one by P.T. Barnum, The Art of Getting Money audiobook. It's an hour and a half long. It's the best hour and a half you'll have listening to P.T. Barnum. It's here on BitChute, The Art of Getting Money. And this is a really good one here on the housing crash I put up here for you guys. This one's really good, and it discusses. This one's from a few years ago from Al Jazeera. So it's a really good, really good one to watch. What else do we got here? We got. There's another couple of documentaries I put up here that are really good. I really want you guys to watch. This one here, World War II documentary. Actual World War II history, part 1. I'll leave a link here in the live comments here for you guys to watch. There's a link to my BitChute, guys, to the video I want you guys to watch. And I'll leave a link to my BitChute channel there. And watch out with BitChute around children, guys. There's a lot of swearing in it. Yeah, watch the movie Silence, guys. eBankU is saying, watch the movie Silence. But watch out with this. Watch out with BitChute, guys, because there's a lot of language in this, and there's no nudity or anything, but it's just a lot of language. So just be careful, guys, with around kids.
Let me tell you guys that I am so excited.
I'm so excited.
I am really so thrilled to be right now sharing this amazing, glorious, super and exciting moment of my life with all of you guys. And let me tell you, man, my wife left me. This is what he says. His wife left him, and now I think he's in jail for promoting this. This Lamborghini guy.
The more you drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. In fact, the real reason I keep this Lamborghini here is the real reason I keep this Lamborghini here is that it's a reminder that dreams are still possible, because it wasn't that long ago that I was in a little Lamborghini sleeping.
He was sleeping in a Lamborghini, see? Guys, don't forget to check out my channel. Please subscribe. And if you want to basically support the channel, very basically, find one of my videos here on my channel and share it. Guys, check out my yearbook here. I'm going to leave a link here for my yearbook. I have this yearbook thing that I do where I get images sent in from people like New Zealand 1971, Libya before destabilization, Egypt 1910, and it kind of shows you images of what Egypt looked like in 1910 and what you would be seeing if you were in Egypt in 1910. So I worked really hard on making these videos, and they keep getting flagged as hate speech. Poland 1945 is really good. This is a really good, what Poland looked like in 1945. Phenomenal. Yeah, Belinda, good night, Belinda. People are logging off. No problem, guys. I'm just plugging myself here. Check out my thing. Me and Supreme Cannon sat down and watched these. Look, Macau, China, 1971. This is when it was Portuguese Macau, Portuguese China. And this is what it looked like when the Portuguese were there in Portuguese China before the Chinese handover back to China. The Portuguese military was there, of course. There's a really cool picture of somebody here. There's a really cool picture I want to show you guys in this thing right here. This guy right here in the streets of Macau. Portuguese soldier there. Yeah. Oh my God, Walking Journey is in the... Oh my God, Walking Journey. Yeah, guys, check out the Walking Journey channel. He's in the chat right now. Click on him. Walking Journey. Amazing guy. I love that guy very much. Hard worker, and I'm very proud of him. He's buying a nice house, and he's working hard for his family. Look at that. Look at Portuguese China. People... Força com os comunistas. People commenting there on the walls there in Macau in Portuguese. To give strength to the communism. But yeah, you're really good. Check out my yearbook section here, guys, if you're bored.
Been on bookshelves in the Hollywood Hills with only $47 billion in my bank account and only 47 Lamborghinis in my Lamborghini.
Anyways, guys, my internet's going down. Walking Journey, I got it. Wait. Low Roller Scratcher, are you making videos, buddy? Low Roller Scratcher, are you making videos?
Hey, this is Virginia Scratcher Lottery.
Whoa, we got Low Roller Scratcher. I gotta subscribe to this guy, guys. Get over to Low Roller Scratcher's channel. Well, he's scratching lottery tickets. Man, and he did an update on KFC here. What, chicken here? Oh, he did a brand new Cheetos KFC review.
Hey, YouTube, I'm back. I'm eating at KFC. I found this brand new sandwich. It's called Cheetos sandwich.
So, guys, check out Low Roller Scratcher. Also, if you guys, Low Roller Scratcher, you owe me a shout-out on your channel, buddy. Get your subscribers over to me, buddy, and I'll get some subscribers over to you. Check out Low Roller Scratcher. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking your time to be with me tonight and with us tonight. A big hug to everybody, and hope we covered what we had to